Every night at exactly 3:03 a.m., something walks past the houses on this quiet street. No matter the weather, rain, fog, snow, it's always there. It walks alone, and it whistles. When they were children, the siblings used to sneak into the kitchen to listen. Their parents forbade it, but the punishment was never harsh, as long as they obeyed one rule: the big rule. It's a nice neighborhood, small houses, green lawns, and smiles that never fade. Good people, lucky people. Because around here, fortune favors those who don't ask questions. When they first moved in, a group of neighbors came to welcome them, casserole in hand, smiles too wide. They brought a folder, too. Inside were newspaper clippings, stories of those who broke the rule. Good things kept happening: promotions, perfect weather, gardens that bloomed year-round. And little Nola, once too weak to breathe on her own, got better. The doctors called it a miracle. Her father called it a blessing, but he never stopped locking the shutters. Each night it passed by, always the same tune, always the same time. And as long as no one looked, everything stayed good. Years passed, until new neighbors moved in next door. A cheerful couple and their son, Holden. They believed the warnings. At first, when Holden stayed over one weekend, he had a question. "Do you know who whistles every night?" The siblings stayed silent, but silence wasn't enough for him. The boy found the key, unlocked the blind, and pulled it up. He looked. "Police! Call the police!" The thing outside began to knock, first at the door, then the back door, then the walls, and finally, the windows. The knocking stopped at sunrise. The family waited 2 more hours before lifting the blinds. Holden's family left before the next sunset, and they never came back. They still live there. They still hear it pass by every night at 3:03, and they still count their million little blessings. Because they know, the real curse begins when you start looking for it.
When Tara and Eric first moved in together, they fought about all the usual things: personal space, chores, what to keep, what to throw away. But their biggest fight was over a painting of a woman neither of them knew. Eric said he bought it at a rummage sale. An oil painting, old, detailed, realistic. A young blonde woman in a white dress, standing in a dark room, looking over her shoulder at whoever was watching. Her gray eyes were cold, her face almost alive. Tara didn't like it, but Eric insisted on keeping it, and worse, hanging it above their bed. At first, she tried to ignore it, but some nights she'd wake suddenly, heart pounding, certain she was being watched. And there, above her, those gray eyes stared down from the shadows. Once, she swore the woman's hand had moved. "Was her hand always like that?" she asked. "Yeah," Eric replied without looking. "She's always been that way." But Tara wasn't so sure. After 2 sleepless weeks, she begged him to move it. Eric sighed and agreed, placing it on the wall by the stairs. But that was worse. Late one night, Tara went down for a snack, half asleep. In the dim light, the pale figure in the painting seemed to stand there at the landing. Real, solid, waiting. She screamed and nearly fell down the stairs. The next morning, Eric laughed it off. He moved the painting again, this time into his office. For a while, things were quiet, but then Tara noticed Eric spending more and more time alone in that room. Hours would pass. She'd call him for dinner, and he wouldn't answer. One night, she found him just sitting there, staring at the painting. His computer dark, his face expressionless. When she asked, he smiled and said he'd just finished a big project. but he hadn't. Later, Tara overheard him lying to his boss, claiming she'd fallen down the stairs as an excuse for missing a deadline. When she confronted him, his answer chilled her. "You're jealous of her," he said softly. "The painting makes her prettier than she was." Tara froze. "Are you saying you knew her?" He didn't answer. That night she couldn't sleep, her mind twisted with possibilities. An ex-girlfriend maybe, or something worse. When Eric finally fell asleep, Tara slipped out of bed, phone in hand, and crept into his office. The room was freezing. The painting hung over his desk, the woman's gray eyes following her every move. Tara climbed onto the chair, lifted her phone, and took a photo. She uploaded it for a reverse image search and froze. Dozens of results, the same painting, the same woman, an art student, Anya Kelsing, missing for 5 years. Her self-portrait had been featured in local galleries, the same image that now hung in Tara's home. The articles said she disappeared on a hike with her boyfriend. He told police they got separated after seeing a bear. Her backpack was found, her body never was, and no one ever mentioned the boyfriend's name. Tara's blood ran cold. The hallway creaked, footsteps. She dove under the desk just as the door opened. "Tara?" Eric's voice was calm, too calm. "Tara, you in here?" She held her breath as his shoes stopped in front of the desk. Then, slowly, he crouched down. "There you are," he whispered. Tara stammered something about looking for a pen, but Eric only smiled. "You figured out who she is, didn't you?" His hand shot out and grabbed her wrist. "You think I'm a murderer," he hissed. She shook her head. "No, I don't. Just tell me what happened." He stared at her with cold, empty eyes. "You should have left it alone," he said quietly. "I'm sorry you had to find out this way." Then he lunged. They struggled. Tara screamed, until a loud crash stopped them both. The painting had fallen from the wall. Anya's gray eyes stared upward from the floor, lifeless but watching. Tara broke free. She ran, down the stairs, out the door, screaming for help. Neighbors rushed out. Police were called. Eric was arrested. Inside his desk drawer, they found a small box. Inside it, a pair of gold earrings, the same ones Anya wore the day she vanished. Now, months later, the painting hangs in Tara's foyer. Not out of love, but gratitude. Because that night, Anya didn't just fall from the wall. She fell to save her. And sometimes, when Tara walks past it, she swears. The painted woman smiles back.